Chennai is known as the gateway to South India. It is a successful, bustling place. Tucked away from the busy city streets is an orphanage for abandoned girls.
Up together, down together.
This special home is a labor of love for a dedicated Christian couple, Tara and Isaac Managaram.
Our mission was very clear and simple: to find, foster, and free abandoned girls and to rescue them from infanticide, trafficking, and child abuse. And that's what STEPS stands for.
Tara and Isaac Managaram's journey began in 2006 when they rescued 3 orphaned girls.
What a beautiful little girl.
This is Karunya. This is Sarah. That's Nisha.
Over time, 3 girls became 5, then 10, then finally 14. And while STEP's home is a sanctuary for these well-loved girls, in India, being born female is considered a hindrance rather than a blessing. Girl infants may be murdered or abandoned. Young girls are abused, neglected, subject to being sold to servitude, or trafficked in the sex trade. In a male-dominated culture, females are considered less worthy than males, much less worthy.
I think the main problem here is because of the dowry system, that we're expected to give so much for if it is a girl child when they get married. People who are poor, when the baby is born, they feel it's already a big burden on them. So they don't even wish for a girl child.
At STEP's home, the loving environment created by Tara and Isaac provides emotional, spiritual, and educational support until adulthood.
We don't want to, in the conventional sense, call it an orphanage. That was the old thing where the children were being institutionalized. We want to call it a home with a difference. The children come from very, very hurt backgrounds, and we don't want to bring them from one bad situation into another. We want to give them hope. We want to bring life in Jesus Christ. We can only see God doing that. And our prayer and dream for each of these children, that each of them would one day make an outstanding contribution by being an Esther, a Ruth. That's really our desire, nothing more. There are so many girl children that need a home. But if God gives us these 14 and another 8, we want to invest and pour into their lives. That's really Tara and my desire.
We were so impressed by the plight of these young girls that we made a commitment to come alongside Tara and Isaac to help raise funds for their first home in 2007. Many of you joined us in that response with love and generosity that enabled us to raise about $350,000 to help fund this. We are deeply grateful to the generous kindness of so many of you.
It was a humble beginning. We didn't even know how God was going to unfold all of this. But in the last 7 years, from the day we started STEPS, Living Truth has been a major partner in the things that God has called us to do. There's so much to be done, but we're continuing to do all that God has in store for us.
On a day-to-day basis, Tara is mom to the girls, helping with homework, crafts, and any extra projects. She delights in seeing these girls blossom.
It's become more like a friendship. They are very independent. If I mismatch and wear something, they check me. So it's almost, they've become my friends now. They are all that I have, so very close.
Living Truth helped us put the home together, to rent the facility, to furnish it, and get us started, and then raise funds for the seed money to buy a piece of land. And after that was done, we prayed that God would give us a building the girls could call a home of their own. And so now they helped us with building a beautiful building that would house 35 children. So all in all, about $350,000 approximately over the years through the Partners of Living Truth. You know, it's God's people. And when God puts a tug on your heart to see what is happening around the world, especially with girl children, it just moves my heart. And what has been amazing is to see Canadian partners coming alongside. God's heart is for the orphan children, that whether the money comes from Canada, from India, it's His work, and we're just a part of it. So we are so grateful to the viewers of Living Truth that they would invest into such a worthy cause of saving a girl child.
God is at work through Tara and Isaac, and through generous viewers like many of you. Through your support, the young girls at Steps have been given a life-saving opportunity. The love and encouragement that Isaac and Tara pour into these girls is nurturing and enables them to enjoy a family life they would otherwise have never known. But Isaac and Tara simply cannot raise these girls alone. Joan Elango is the principal of Anita Methodist School, where the girls study, and she has come alongside Tara and Isaac to educate these girls. She has witnessed firsthand their ongoing development.
Anita Methodist is a Christian school. However, the majority of pupils are non-Christian. Most of the 2,000 students come from low economic backgrounds, and regardless of religious or social status, Joan Elango and her staff are dedicated to fostering an environment of mutual respect and Christ-centered principles. Joan works closely with Tara and Isaac to ensure the Steps girls thrive in their environment.
The Steps girls, most of them are in class 4 and 5 now, which means they are with us for about 6 to 7 years. And I've seen them for the last 3 years very closely. I've seen them grow from babies to little girls. So much has changed about them. They were far more less confident and diffident about what they were about themselves. But I can see now they're becoming more confident, they are able to respect themselves, and they're doing well in academics. I've actually seen them bloom in the last 3 years. I think the important thing about what Tara and Isaac are doing with the Steps girls, these are not girls coming from an orphanage, they're girls coming from a family. We don't see in them the usual issues of children coming from hostels and orphanages. Their problems are very real, like children coming from natural homes with natural parents. And I think that's a big deal. These children actually have a parent and a home, not a hostel or an orphanage.
You put your right hand in and shake it all about. Boogie, 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 and dance.
We see Christ in the lives of the children because we are seeing their lives turn around. We can see what the love of Christ manifested in 2 people, and their faith is so real, and they talk in very real terms about Christ. It's not something that goes over your head. It's very concrete. I see Christ in the lives of those children. Okay, children, thank you. I think I should let you continue with your class.
This new STEPS building, made possible through financial support from Living Truth viewers, is a much-needed home, allowing Isaac and Tara the space to rescue a further 11 girls, bringing their total to 25 girls in all.
I just wanted a place where they could just play and that plenty of space. So the ground floor is fully a play area. We've got 3 levels actually. We have a dining room and all the rooms have an open space. A lot of light to come in, so they always feel bright. I just wanted the kids to have a place where they don't keep moving. For me, STEPS means home with a difference. I want the kids to be free from all the past. I'm blessed that they feel comfortable with us.
For me, STEPS means freedom. Freedom for these little girls. That we would be a voice for them, to free them from the bondage that they have just because they're a girl child.
Before coming to STEPS, these little girls lived in poverty and shame and were rejected by the world around them. But by His grace, God sent Tara and Isaac Monogaram with love in their hearts to rescue these precious, vulnerable little girls. Because of the STEPS program, these girls have the opportunity to grow up in a godly environment where they will in turn learn to share and give to others. On behalf of Tara and Isaac, I want to extend a deep thanks to you, our Living Truth viewers, who have supported this venture in the past. Through your generous support, STEPS Home has become a reality. Thank you.
Today's Bible reading is taken from Proverbs verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. In all your ways, remember Him, then He will make your paths smooth and straight.
One day there'll be young women with children of their own. Then there will be old women with grandchildren. And in decades to come, long after most of us have gone to heaven, they will thank God for your vision, your kindness, and your love that gave them a future and a hope.
Coming up, Living Truth in India.
Stay tuned for more of this special edition of Living Truth as Charles Price introduces a refuge for teen girls rescued from prostitution and human trafficking.
When we feel lost and alone, our greatest need is to be reconciled to God and to experience the love of the Lord Jesus Christ made real in our hearts. That love of God flows through us to seek out and help others who are in horrific situations for which there seems no way out. You're about to see the work of Smita Singh, director of Mahima Homes in Calcutta. These are 2 transition homes for teenage girls who've been rescued as victims of sex trafficking. And as if 2 homes are not enough work for Smita, she, along with the supporters of Living Truth viewers, is preparing a 3rd home to rehabilitate teenage girls who are victims to such abuse. This is Mahima Home.
By day, Calcutta is a busy center, teeming with traffic, roadside business, and markets. But in the twilight hours, the side streets of this city reveal the ugly darkness of the sex trade. In India, there is a huge demand for underage girls in the sex trade. Sadly, this demand comes from within the country itself. Smita Singh, along with her staff, rescue teenage girls from the world of human trafficking.
Calcutta is a very crucial place with regard to the sex trade industry because we're in between Nepal and Bangladesh. So a lot of girls come in from these two countries and moved out to other cities in Calcutta. And also in Calcutta itself, from the suburbs, many girls come in. So officially, I think UNICEF kind of puts it at 2.2 million girls who get trafficked into the sex trade in India under the age of 18 every year. And Calcutta, I would say, would have about 40% of those girls. We have such a big demand for these girls in Calcutta. The ages we've had 8 years is our youngest. Even adults are being forced and lured and deceived with promises of jobs or marriage and being brought and sold into this. So Mahima Home basically started out as a felt need to have Christian aftercare in Calcutta. So working with other NGOs who were rescuing girls from 2006 to 2009, placing them in government facilities and other NGO homes was not really working because they had no services, the infrastructure was really bad, no one was really looking at rehabilitation and reintegration. So out of that need, we set up Mahima Home as the first Christ-centered home in Calcutta for minor victims of sex trafficking. So that happened in 2010, and we have 25 beds there. The second home is for older girls, 18 and above, where we have 15 beds. Because the need is still so much for minor girls who are being rescued, that the third home is going to be starting off with 10 beds. We do have capacity there to build out and have full 25 if we do need them. So the Mahima group of homes, now we have a total of 3 homes.
Before Mahima Home intervened, these vulnerable girls had a difficult time just trying to survive. Many were sexually abused and neglected. Some were sold by their own families into human slavery, others into the sex trade. The teen girls rescued by Smita and her team are given a valuable gift of love and rehabilitation. At Mahima Home, the girls are guided by trained counselors, given skills training, education, and recreation, as well as sound biblical teaching. Pastor Ashok Andrews works alongside Smita. He offers guidance and support by witnessing to the girls.
You know, one of the things that we did when we started this home is that we were very intentional that all of our staff were people that knew Jesus Christ as their Savior. And our desire was that more than their preaching and their teaching, their lives will reflect Christ. And also with Kolkata Christian Fellowship, we have consistently come to the home to be able to interface with the girls, to be able to share the love of Jesus with them.
I think the difference with Mahima is that Mahima is Christ-centered. I mean, girls are getting to know that, there is redemption, that there is forgiveness in their lives. And I think that is what makes the difference between complete healing and just providing a place to sleep and some kind of therapy and schooling. But holistic healing comes only from knowing that, God loves them. You see that transformation in the girls' faces, the way they act, the way they behave, their language, all of that changes, and we get to see that on a daily basis. So that is very encouraging for us as staff as well.
In this safe environment, the girls regain their dignity and learn vocational skills that help them become self-sufficient and to reintegrate into society. Routine and education are key to rehabilitation.
সকালবেলা স্কুল থেকে 5টার সময় উঠে স্কুলে যাই
I wake up at 5 a.m. to get ready to go to school. Our school starts at 7 a.m. By the time we get home, it's 1 p.m. Then we attend our life skill class followed by English class. At 5:30 the auntie comes to tutor us. After tutoring we have a little snack and then go back to studying. Then we watch TV for an hour. Then from 9 to 9:30 it's our prayer time.
প্রার্থনার সময় তারপরে আমরা খেয়ে দিয়ে
Fran, not her real name, was taken far from her home with the promise of work. She was physically and sexually abused, but managed to escape. Alone in a strange city, she was picked up to be sold into sex trafficking. She escaped a second time and was rescued by Mahima home.
মহিমা আমি এসে সত্যি আমার
After coming to Mahima, my confidence has grown a lot.
আমি অনেক কিছু জানতে পেরেছি
I have learned about many different things.
অন্য জায়গায়
If I were somewhere else, I probably wouldn't have learned or understood a lot of things.
যে এরকম কিছু
The girls at Mahima home benefit from a solid education. Attending school is mandatory.
Most of them have either never been to school or they've dropped out very early. So they are really starting off from scratch. So sometimes they do well. When they get a good mark, they're very, very excited. But when you feel that they're not doing too well, then they feel upset. But we have additional help at home to help them cope up and catch up with their studies. So right now we have 3 girls who are in 10th grade from the minors' home. The rest are in 7th and 8th grade, so they're studying, but their ages are between 16 to 18 years of age. The younger ones, some of them have come from school already, so they've studied a couple of years, so they enjoy going to school because it's getting them out of the home as well. So that's an exposure. They get to meet other kids. They get to be with a different group of people who don't know what their background are and have a sense of normalcy in the school. So that's been good. We have a couple of girls who are in college from the transition home. So one is going to her second year, both of them. So we are very encouraged by that these girls have reached a point where they are studying in college and looking forward to doing things. So one of them wants to be a social worker, I'm hoping.
Nandita Sarkar teaches some of the Mahima home girls.
The girls have almost forgotten their past and they are coming out into the life and studying and trying to find some jobs or something like that. The older ones try to get into the mainstream life. We feel that our girls need to have the education so that each one can teach other one and so that we can spread education in all parts of our country. So I feel that these girls who are learning here will be the torchbearers. They have faced so much of problem in their life. Now they understand why do we need to have education? What is the need for financial self-sustenance? So I feel that they can make others understand.
The need is so much, the expenses are so much. Take care of these girls. They're coming from such traumatized situations, both physically, emotionally, that it takes a lot to bring them back to a point of healing where they feel whole and they can be part of the community. So what we're looking at is operations costs, that's day-to-day food, hygiene, clothing, medical and stuff, and staff support. So these are our 2 big needs to run the home. So the Mahima word means glory, and that's a name that the girls chose for them. But for me personally, Mahima is something that I have kind of been part of right from the beginning, so it's like my baby. But it's also a place where there's healing and transformation that happens. And for me, it's a place to see God in action every single day that I walk into this home. So that is what Mahima means for me.
Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.
Your financial participation will ensure that more girls will receive basic needs such as clothing, food, education, and above all, a future and a hope. They deserve the same opportunities that girls around the world dream about. Most importantly, they need to be loved and cared for by loving staff and ultimately to have the opportunity of experiencing the salvation available to them through Jesus Christ.
आज का दिन यहोवा ने बनाया है, हम इसमें
We invite you to support Mahima Home in Calcutta, India. Through your financial donations, you will be giving the teen girls at Mahima Home a life-changing opportunity. These girls need rehabilitation from a life of slavery and sex trafficking. With your contribution, Mahima Home can provide a safe, loving Christian environment to care for these amazing young women. Please send a check to the address on your screen or call 1-888-269-6085 to donate with a credit card. On the internet, go to livingtruth.ca to make a secure donation. Living Truth is a registered charity and all donations are tax deductible. Prayerfully consider supporting Mahima Home and the teenage girls who so deserve a life filled with Christ's love and caring.
The teen girls in these transition homes need and want their lives rescued and redirected. Together with Living Truth, you can help us break the awful cycle of human slavery and sex trafficking that is going on in so many places today. Christ-driven people like Smita Singh can accomplish this mission at Mahima Home, and it is our privilege to invest generously in this opportunity. Will you join us? Next week, we'll learn more about the work at Mahima Home. We'll also return to Mata Mission Hospital in Madurai to witness the fruits of your financial commitments in the past. God bless you.